Well, I suppose at the beginning there was the couple that founded this Ecovillage, Reinhold Huber and Lynn Hindle, and they had the vision, bought a lot of money and bought the land. Each landowner has a title with a 5-acre lot on it, and on the same title is a undivided share in the common land.
We have regulations that go into quite some detail as to speed control or dog animal control or these issues. We have agreement in there about how we look after the land, that it is organic methods to be used, encouragement to build ecologically sound buildings, following certain guidelines. We have in there for our meetings, how often we have meetings. And now my beeper goes, which means my watering is happening somewhere. I need to shift my sprinkler in a moment. Our house is on the shady side. In the beginning I used to freeze and bottle a lot of stuff. I don't do that much anymore. Because it can grow it all year round and move it.
My thing is that I live here on a beautiful piece of land and in beautiful surroundings, and on top of that, in a community, in a neighborhood, in a whatever you like to call it, where people communicate in a nice way with one another. And if it's nicer or slightly less nice, it's always better than if you would just be somewhere and there would be no connection with your neighbors.
It's basically what I always say, microcosmos and a macrocosmos. So everything what happens outside happens here as well. But I think the difference is that we try to deal with it a little bit more conscious and different. It's not accidentally that we all met here. All the different personalities and the way we handle everything, that is an important thing. I actually think that's what our world needs. We need to learn to live together and understand each other. We are so individualized, which is quite scary, really, if you look at it on a global scale. And so that's another reason to live together.
The community side's good. It's got a whole lot of beneficial sort of factors to it. We know our neighbours. We have agreements here. We don't do certain things. We run the place organically, and it's lovely to know your neighbours are like that. And that's the real upside of community, and becoming friends with some people here and working in and trying to make decisions with people you don't particularly like, but willing to give, work side by side is an interesting process, and
good exercise in tolerance. I think. Yeah, teaches you to be tolerant, and that people are from many different cultural backgrounds and have different ways of thinking and approaching things, and it's good to it makes you more aware of that, and to perhaps approach things slightly differently as to how you would normally.
Yeah, because this is really a United Nations, this Ecovillage. We have people from so many different cultures. It's quite interesting seeing that.
Well, initially New Zealand was just very attractive because of the people being very, very friendly. We felt very welcome. Gorgeous landscape, beaches, forests, mountains, rivers, lakes. It was just all within reach. So it didn't take us long to decide, okay, we're going to stay here. And now, 1987, 25 years or a bit more later, we are in a place that looking back, fits the criteria for a good place to be around peak oil and afterwards. The climate is fairly benign. We don't get frost much at all. We don't spend a lot of energy on heating and cooling the place. There's a bit of heating required in the winter in the evening, but the cooking fire normally takes care of that. Makes hot water at the same time. We can grow food all year round. We've got a good water supply. The soil is reasonably fertile, and we can really feed ourselves quite well here. I remember a little while ago Sabina was asking me, if we got cut off from the world, if there's a big meltdown of the big systems, what would we run out of first? And I thought for a little while, and I thought, well, it would be matches. That will be the first critical point. We have to learn to light a fire without matches. After that, we'll be okay for a long time.
The northern part of New Zealand certainly is very good for that. Is having passive solar design, which, if you say it very shortly, means getting in as much sun as you can, and having something in your house, like a concrete floor, which stores that heat, and stores it long enough that it keeps your house warm overnight. So if you combine that with insulation, then you're basically sorted for the energy problem as well.
I love the ambience of thick walls, really thick walls, and to get that with any other material, it's pretty labour intensive. Straw bale was quite an easy sort of build and an easy way of achieving those really thick walls. So that's why we sort of went for it, really, as well as the insulation values of it, and just the look of it.
Insulation's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's so lovely and cool in summer when it gets too hot for me, because I'm not a sun bunny, and it's beautiful and warm in winter. Yes,
lovely
it's
to live in.
wonderful. It's got a nice feel about it. I love living in this house.